trauma bonds obviously are this deep fear of disconnect. It's obviously all about the attachment injury that happens the original time. When we have parents that are inconsistent, that's an attachment trauma. That's telling us, oh my God, I don't know if they'll be there to bond with me. And that's the drug, that the dopamine hit of, oh, what can I do to get that? It's earning love. That's how earning love comes about. We don't need to earn love. We are love.
Bingo, bingo,
Thank God.
bingo,
In a
bingo,
nutshell.
bingo, bango. I tell, like, for me, you hit on something there, briefly, the addiction. To me, trauma
Yeah,
bonding, the trauma bond is an addiction. It's an
it is.
addictive component. I
It
look
is.
at it as, I tell people, like, typically when I'm coaching, well, what's going on in your life outside of that
Yeah.
relationship?
Yeah.
Well, I've got this job and nothing else. Well, okay, well, you're bored, right? And so to me, the trauma bond is this relationship represented things that heightened your biochemistry, your
Yep.
adrenaline, right? People don't realize this, but adrenaline is highly addictive. So even when you're fighting with abusive personalities, it's getting your adrenaline going. And if you don't have anything else exciting in life, then your mind is going to go back to that. You're bonded to it because you feel like that's where I'm going to feel alive, is in the fighting and
Yeah.
in the rewards that that relationship had. And because I used to challenge myself, why, when I was younger, I was in an abusive home, had an abusive stepfather. I dealt with bullies. Everybody does, came across them. Why didn't I care as much? It didn't stop me. I was still energetic. I was looking for, right. What was the difference? How come now in my life it's like I'm crumbled? And part of it, or I'm stuck, right? Part of it was, well, when I was younger, I was highly active, highly active. I had so much going on. I was involved in sports and life was still new. So there was something to look forward to. So I didn't have time to really dwell on the bad people and the bad things. But as we age, things start going away. It's like, well, you don't play football anymore. You don't play baseball anymore. You're not
Mhm.
challenging your system as we age. We don't challenge ourselves biochemically anymore. And we can become complacent. We go to work, we do our job, and we come home and whatever else. And when suddenly somebody or a group of people comes into your life starting all this trouble, your body actually gets into this place of, oh my goodness, there's feeling here, there's anger, there's emotion, there's aggression, and it's hard to pull away. You hate it, you don't want it because it's dramatic, but
Mhm.
when it's gone, you're back with nothing, your daily life, going to work, coming back home. And so it's no wonder you can't stop thinking about that. And so I typically tell people, look, it's time to, as you're healing, process the relationship, but it's time to take steps back into new adventures, right? You have to get back in touch with who you are, right? Self acceptance, which means that if you are somebody who requires a certain amount of adrenaline in your life, go for it. If you got to go skydiving, right? You got to get a motorcycle. Reintroduce challenges in your life that are a part of who you are, that's going to make up for that loss. If you don't, then your mind's gonna believe that that relationship is the answer. It's not. It's
Well, yes. And unfortunately, that's why a lot of people will say that the healthy people are boring. Well, of course, because you're still in your withdrawal. Withdrawal means I'm so addicted to that person, I don't want to do anything else that'll get in the way of my connection with that person. That's also what happens. But I love what you're saying. What I think was the best gift of my life is turning my passion from a person into my purpose. I'm
yeah,
much more passionate about my work than any person ever could be. I love them. They're a great place for me, but this is me forever. It's not going anywhere. And
right.
so when you really put that, and this is hard for people, it's a process we can talk about later, but when people finally realize it's safe to love myself, to shine, to validate myself, to do all of that, then you never have to put your power or your mood or your brain chemistry out there to have conditions around people who could leave, hate you, do whatever to you. You will never leave yourself. Your passion,
Right.
your purpose is never leaving you. This is your safe zone for passion. This is your safe
Yeah.
zone. And to your point as well, I know even after my divorce, I started playing golf and tennis and doing all run club, all these things. And I felt this part of my teenage self that I put away. Like I used to be a huge
Yes.
athlete, stopped being an athlete to be a model because they're like, you're too muscular. And I reclaimed that part of myself. And I was like, I'm an athlete. What the hell am I doing? And it was just this other awakening I didn't even realize I wasn't doing. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm a really active person. I'm never going to put that away for anyone or anything.
Right.
It's
Yes.
non-negotiable, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
everything you're saying, I totally agree with. And we have to talk about maybe the next session is withdrawal because people get the withdrawal and then they go right back in and they don't want to feel it. And what a lot of people will tell
Yeah.
you, the withdrawal is worse. They say worse than a heroin withdrawal is the
It
withdrawal
is.
from a love addiction.
But it,
And
but
that's
it,
what that is.
but at least they know, and at least you've got that mindset. Okay, it's an addiction. It's the biochemical part, and
Yes, it
and
is.
it's because again, we don't listen. We're biochemical people. We're biochemical
Yeah.
beings. It's like the way I look at it is God and this wisdom said, okay, these people have to get up, have to be motivated, have to have drive in life. So there's this intricate system of chemicals that do that. If we did not have biochemistry, endorphin, serotonin, adrenaline, we'd be a rock. We wouldn't do anything, right? So to get up, to have drive, we have these chemicals. Some people have stronger than others, right? And like, for example, adrenaline, highly addictive. This is why there's adrenaline junkies. They jump out of planes and then they go halfway to the moon in a Red Bull can and jump out, right? It's like, and then they do it without a parachute. So we all have these chemicals. And when you're in a relationship that hijacks them, meaning you have these real high highs and great sex and
Oh,
whatever, and then you're fighting and beating the hell out of getting yelled at. So you're going from you got the serotonin going and the adrenaline going. And then to leave that, to cut that off and go no contact, it's exactly like
yeah.
what you said. Your body's going to be like, but I need those chemicals. And
Yes.
so, but like any alcoholic or anybody who's struggling, the mistake is to think that it's the alcohol that's the alcohol is a quick and easy and cheap way to get the biochemistry. Right. I'm under the
Yeah.
impression that all addictions work the same, whether it's alcohol, food, sex, whatever. All it is it's not the substance that you're addicted to. It's how it triggers your biochemistry. That's the addiction. So if you can figure this out, well, if you can accept this, as difficult as it is, start to restructure your life and step into things that are going to shock your body back into, oh my gosh, there's a exciting world out there that's not with that person, not with that substance. Then you can
Yeah.
retrain your body to uh, to have controlled amounts of those biochemistries. Like, so for me, that's exactly why I started riding a motorcycle. And what's interesting is like there's literally because it's a controlled anxiety. It's a
Mhm.
controlled rush. Anytime I'm
Mhm.
riding, it's it's kind of scary. But it's not scary like an abusive relationship. It's more of a controlled thing. But the key is that I'm managing it. So I'm telling my body, okay, it's adrenaline time. I'm managing it. Um, and I think this is what people need to hopefully understand is that we need to step into managing our biochemistry. Otherwise, a person or a group of people are going to come along and hijack it and they're going to manage it for us. And that's what abusive relationships do. They manage our biochemistry for us when it's something that we really need to manage ourselves. And we need to be able to take on that responsibility to give ourselves what we need. Right. I think
Yeah.
it's,
And I
it's,
think an
but
important,
people don't realize this too. And this real quick, I just wanted to add this. This gets into that territory of how bored sometimes we can fall in, we can become without even knowing it. And, we live in this 21st century and we're really not meant to. We live in these lives where we wake up and we go to work and we get food at the corner. We go to Chick-fil-A and we get our coffee at Starbucks and like everything's done for us. And we're not really meant to live like that. You know, we come from an ancient history of people that would go out and have to catch their food, right? And the wives wouldn't know if their husbands would even make it home or if they were going to get
Mhm.
eaten by some beast out there, right? So we forget that this is our background, the constant biochemistry, and we don't have that anymore. So
Yeah.
wipe all that away, give everything to us, and it's no wonder why difficult relationships become the most uh, unappealing but appealing thing, because
No, it
we're no
makes sense.
longer challenging ourselves the way in which we're designed to be challenged.
Love that. I just want to say one thing about the trauma bond because the think about this. This is the easiest example I give my clients. See if you relate to this. It's like if you're a little kid and your mom gives you so much love and then she takes it away. Now you are in a void state. So you need more. So the reason that we go to the trauma bond, which is intense love, intense not love, is because the intensity of that fills the void of our original trauma bond of just being neglected of love. And we think this person finally loves me. Then they take it away and it's such a big drain. There's nothing there. It's such a big void that we need the big trauma bond again to fill it. We need that extreme intensity.
Yeah.
That's the issue. So what I always say is you have to go no contact because after months of no contact, and I mean, don't look at their shit, don't wait for the phone, block
Right.
it,
Yeah.
totally get rid of it. Your brain starts to re-regulate where it doesn't need that intensity anymore. So you're not going to be
Yes.
bored. You're going to be
Yes.
fine with a normal daily experience. That intensity
Yes.
needing, that need of intensity tells me that your dopamine is so low because you've been totally abused. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the
Exactly.
original imprint.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I
Like, oh,
appreciate about this conversation that we're having is we're taking the mysticism out of the trauma bond, because a lot of times
yeah.
people are like, what's the trauma bond? Is it a soul tie? Is it this? And what I
No,
appreciate
it's
about what
not
we're
your
saying
twin
is like,
flame.
no, it's not that mystical. It
Right.
really does come down to a lot of biochemistry, and you can really start to
Biochemistry.
sort this stuff out. And so I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.